Well, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? And welcome to the channel. Hey, I just got home, sitting in the Tundra out here in the driveway, actually. Made a little sweet tea breakfast run. And I was enjoying the ride in my Tundra, and I got to thinking, why did I ever buy the Crewmax before? I had a Tundra Crewmax. And right now I have the Double Cab. And to be honest with you, when I first started looking at the Tundra back before I bought the Crewmax, I actually liked the looks anyway of the Double Cab better. So I went to the dealership and I got in the Double Cab, and I was concerned about space in the back. I'll show you guys back here. There's my hand. Space in the back. You guys can see there. Would there be enough room, And I got in the back and I sat in there. I put the front seat where, I thought it would be if I was driving, because I wanted to test out the room, at least for someone my size who's in the front seat. And I got in the rear, and I just didn't feel like there was enough room back there, I took it for a ride anyway, and it was fine. The truck drove great. I liked the truck, no big deal. But then I decided to test out the Crewmax. So I did the same thing. I got in the rear seat of the Crewmax with the front seat adjusted the same way and everything, and it was just night and day different. I mean, it was cavernous. You could almost put a whole nother person in front of me in the back seat. There was just so much room, and of course, that felt better, So I got in, I took it for a ride, and that was really the deal sealer for me, was that there was just so much more room in the Crewmax. Still, though, I liked the Double Cab better, but I did buy the Crewmax, and it was fine. But now, after having the Double Cab, I question as to why did I really go ahead and do that? At the time, there's only two of us that ever ride in the truck, and generally it's just me. So one person, did I really need all that room? It's like buying an 18, bedroom mansion, versus something that you really can use. You've got the space, but if you don't use it, is it worth it? Ultimately, in the end, of course, I did trade the Crewmax in. I got a TACOMA, which I really love, by the way. But recently, as many of you may know, purchased another Double Cab Tundra in addition to the TACOMA sitting in the garage over there for the channel. And after driving it for a while, I realized that, I really never did need a Crewmax. And even stranger was that I bought it even though I liked the looks of the Double Cab better. I think it was just that feeling of openness, of cavernous space in the rear back there, just swayed my decision so strongly that that's the one that I had to have, Now, like I said, after having the Double Cab for a while, I was wrong. I didn't need the Crewmax. I certainly didn't need all that extra space. We do have people occasionally, when people visit or whatever, that will run out to the store or a restaurant for dinner or whatever. But I've never had anybody complain in the short time that I've had the Double Cab that there was a lack of room back there, that it was too tight, or they were uncomfortable, or there wasn't enough space, or any of that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, I did a video recently comparing the TACOMA to this Double Cab Tundra, and I know that's not exactly fair. And it was a rather big, tall, I should say, fellow that was in here, and he actually liked it better. There was more space for him, and no problems in the back seat, and even had plenty of room between his knees and the front seat, so no issues at all. The Double Cab certainly does suffice for something like that. So should you really buy a Crewmax? Why would you buy a Crewmax? You're going to lose a little bit of bed length if you do that. I have a longer bed in the double cab than I did in the Crewmax, and that's simply because the Crewmax, of course, has the bigger cab, so it takes up some of the bed space. But why should you buy one? Well, you know, if you do a lot of interior hauling of rather large things, I guess, you know, like if you maybe have a business or something and you haul stuff that can't get wet, for example, due to weather, or stuff that you want to protect. In other words, you don't want to throw it in the bed because someone could come up and grab it. I could see it for something like that. Some more work type purposes, you know, just more space back there for things like that. Interior hauling if you need it. If you have little kids, you know, maybe 2 or 3 little kids or not so little kids, there is more space back there for them. You'll certainly hear less complaining the more room that you give them back there. So it would work better for that. And one big pet peeve I had, or have rather, is kicking on the back seat. You know, little kids love to kick their legs, you know, because they just have all this energy. They have to kick. And when you're in the Crewmax, there's such a large gap between the front seat and the rear seat that they really can't reach it well. They really have to make a big effort to be able to kick that seat. Now, I know that's probably not a reason to go out and spend extra money to get a Crewmax versus a double cab. But then again, depending on how much it drives you nuts, it might be worth it, especially if you take a lot of long trips and stuff. And while I'm talking about long trips, you know, when I had the Crewmax, Krista and I, and there were just 2 of us, and 2 dogs actually, drove from Ohio to Texas and then back. And we did it in the Crewmax. And it was probably the most comfortable ride I've ever had long distance in my life. And I've driven in minivans and station wagons when I was young, and regular cars and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And the Crewmax was the most comfortable. And I think you'd get the same level of comfort in the double cab. Now, one advantage that we would have had over the double cab because of the dogs is the distance between the rear seats and the front. You know, we had one of those doggy hammocks, you know, where they could sit in there and ride. And there was so much space back there that really, as the driver, I couldn't reach back and do anything if I needed to. Fortunately, Krista was with me, so if something needed to be done with the dog, she could reach back there and do it. But it was much easier to do, I think, because it is just a little bit more compact back there, if you will. So do big dogs fit in the double cab? I would think you could put, with the seats down, or up rather, you could definitely fit a couple of large dogs in here. You might want some kind of a panel or something on the floor to kind of level it out, because I have the under storage in mine, and it does create some weird surfaces, I guess, for a dog to stand on. But from a space standpoint, you certainly could fit 2 big dogs in either one. Now, where the Crewmax might trump that, I suppose, is it doesn't have any under-seat storage. So it's a little flatter back there, and little Fido, or big Fido, probably would be able to stand and not get jostled around so much in the Crewmax. Mileage. You know, the elephant in the room that nobody ever wants to talk about, but we always do. My double cab actually gets better gas mileage than the Crewmax. I think it gets 1 mile per gallon better. 1 mile per gallon better. So if you're, you know, concerned with fuel economy, there's a big plus right there. Yeah, 1 mile per gallon. Maybe if you drive 1 million miles, you know, that would make a difference. I don't know. So I guess in hindsight, you know, what I'm thinking is I really should have gotten the double cab to begin with. As I mentioned earlier, I do like the looks of it better than the Crewmax. It would have suited my needs just fine. I think it was a case of, for some reason, bigger always feels better, you know, so you get inside and you experience that cavernous space in the back of the Crewmax, and that's got to be the one, you know. But I would say if you're out there and you're torn between the two, give the double cab another look, you know. Save yourself a little bit of money. Get a little bit longer or more bed space, because you don't have that extended cab And for sure, enjoy that extra fuel economy. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit after having the double cab for a while. I did make a mistake originally when I bought the Crewmax, but I've got the right one now. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button if you haven't before. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.